Duke, do you want to say hi to everybody? Duke? Duke? He's right here. Duke, you want to say hi to everybody again? Come on. Oh, there he is. See? Hello. I love this dog. All right. Good boy. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another fan reading on Tales from the Creeps. How's it doing? How's it going? I don't know what. Hi. I'm kind of scrambled today. I'm tired. I had a busy day. My hair's a mess. Duke is, well, he's being a dog, but sorry for the chaotic intro. How are y'all doing? Welcome back to another fan reading on Tales from the Creeps. Today we are looking at a little something different. I usually look at creature features, but today's a bit of a psychological horror. It's called You Were So Happy. I haven't read this yet. I like the title of it, and I wanted to see what would happen in it. So, like I usually do, I always go into my stories blind so y'all can get my genuine reaction. So, the author is, let's see here, Sir Michael. So, thank you for letting me read your story. I hope you enjoy it, and please let me know if how the reading goes and what you would prefer I did other than what I'm going to do in the video. You know what I mean. Anyway, all the links will be in the description below if you want to check out the author, support them, just give them words of support. Oh gosh, this is such a mess. This is such a mess. Anyway, like I said, all links in the description below. Be supportive of the author, and I will also leave my Discord in the links below as well. So, anyway, without further ado, You Were So Happy. I mean, it used to be. He awoke from a night of troubled sleep, each pressing day coming closer to a day he knew would come, like the inevitable tide. He rose and sat at the edge of his bed, listening to the birds and soft silver murmur of wind chimes, the melody of which was written in the air, and never came out of the same. The sound of innocence in times since past. The room was that of his boyhood, modified in his departure, cracks in the foundations, cobwebs in the corners, and the faint smell of familiarity. The home was quiet, now absent of once beating heart. He never left her side. She grew weaker each passing day, and he did his best to play this new role. The burning inferno dwindled to that of a candle flame. In the eyes she was heaven, a sanctuary of peace and a stronghold in which would stand the test of time. He didn't dare think it would falter. Her hair was a worn chestnut and winning the battle of age, only letting a gray or two come through until it began to fall out. She had jokes saying she'd rather be bald as a baby than grow as a tombstone. Her smile rivaled the sun, lingering long after the moon rose. Lived as a shadow, unable to move when his source stopped, stayed in the empty home for longer than he would like to admit, spending his time moving from room to room and going through the motions of living. He couldn't bear thinking of her spending her days locked away like this. He knew what he had to do. He would take her on one last trek into the greater world, a sight to claim and hold. In a search for their wonderland, he took the lead. She did not argue. She took the hand of whom she loved so and would use the strength as a crutch to carry. He placed her in the car and drove. He drove and drove, prairies to hills and hills to mountains. The car was filled with a solemn silence, only broken speakers that sing the songs of better days. Even now, the meanings have changed. The destinations were etched in his mind. They both were eager to rise in the sight and claim it as their own. The engine cut with a soft hiss and an entrance of the forest yawned before them, its thorn-laced maw gaping wide. The oaks grew to rival that of mountains on which they now stand. He knew he had to carry her. Maybe in another life, at a different time, they could walk hand in hand to the edge of the world. And the one, however, fate had chosen otherwise. With hesitant steps, he set forth into the emerald unknown. The forest mourned in silence, not to disturb him. It gave him time to think and reflect on both the good and the bad. She was everything. In bereavement of the life-giver, he would not know his next steps. He saw the path ahead, laid out on the forest floor in deeper groves, hooves and snapped sticks. Let the forest guide him, following him the carefully laid out path. Above was a tunnel of canopy that curved its way up to the clear sky. Their steady footfalls were the only sound to break the quiet. Memories of the time past reared their ugly head through his thoughts. Like a raging bull, the memories of fear and uncertainty slammed to the forefront. His mother too weak to protect him now. A shadow isn't afraid of the light. It fears the dark. It fears the encapsulation in the black, the total assimilation in the darkness, where it looses itself. Silence played a wicked trick in the mind, and he remembered the day where the world showed its hand. He played in the backyard, a crisp summer day. The flowers were in full bloom. He bent his small body down to examine the little creatures that garden brought along with it. He looked at the butterflies and gave distance to the bumblebees. The grubs peeked their way through the soil, and little beetles sat up with the leaves, enjoying an afternoon snack. His mother was there. She was looking through the window, smiling when she rinsed the dishes. Her boy never ceased to amaze her, the sweet and delicate boy she had raised. He was lost in his little world when he heard a voice not familiar with him. He called out his name in a gruff tone. He looked at the source to see a large man in unkempt clothes. Bald hair and long beard covered most of his face. The man called his name once sharp and demanding before he began approaching the small boy. The boy's shaking body almost stood at attention like a little soldier. He knew that tone meant he was in trouble. This wasn't right, though. He had been a good boy. He had been being good, and he didn't know this man. The boy looked at the window wishing to see his mother, but she wasn't there. His heart pounded at his hand. The claws of fear gripped him. He did the only thing he could think of and ran to the door. "Mama! Mama!" he cried out, but the man interrupted him. The man grabbed him in a quick heave, and as he kicked and screamed, they approached an old pickup truck. The engine hiccuped in its rust-covered coat. The man opened the door and threw him in. The boy looked at the window to see his mother running toward them, screaming. It's too late. The truck peeled off, and in a cloud of dust. This is rough. This is like really heavy-handed and like really flowery language too. Did he get sent off to boot camp? Like, or did he get kidnapped? What? Oh, I'm curious. I'm very curious. The tinging of glass bottles and a roaring engine were the only sounds for a long minute. He sniffled and tried to make sense of what had happened. Through blurry tear-soaked eyes, he looked at the man, and the man would look back. "Why are you crying?" The man's voice barked at him, sharp and stern. He watched as his house got smaller. His mother figured shrank too, getting farther and farther away. He still saw when her body crumpled, collapsed on the gravel road. He shrunk into a ball and pushed himself as far from the man as he could get. It wasn't much, but he felt safer with the door pressed against his back. The man glanced at the shivering boy. Their eyes both glassy green and were undoubtedly one and the same. The boy, that was now a man, never blamed her for this day. He knew it ate away somewhere deep down inside of her, a maggot in her mind that wouldn't die. She said she would never leave him again. She couldn't keep that promise. They kept their pace. As they walked through the soft forest floor, it gave way to a rugged and steep terrain. It was carved and sculptured by nature almighty. The babbling silhouette of a creek moseyed its way down the land and kept them company. Standing tall and proud surrounding them were the trees that dwarfed them. Impressive oaks and cypresses and pines lived together in an evergreen brood. He wished they were alone, but he never had felt alone since that day. A fear always accompanied him, the feeling that one day the man would come back and take him for good. Maybe he was right after all. Perhaps he wasn't alone. At a droning trek, he felt an echo that pattered behind him. He would turn, but there was nothing but a wind, a rustle of leaves. He knew she did all that she could, a shelter in the storm. He had watched the boy many times before, a phantom in broad daylight, a beast in the rough. The trees became thicker as they traveled, a dense maze of conifers as the path ended and was swallowed by the forest floor. They went on, truly into the unknown, of the path with nowhere to go but up. The mountain stretched into the sky's blue. This was only the beginning, and so he held her tight and prepared for his journey ahead. The suffocating silence that surrounded him fractured as the cracking of a tree behind him ripped through the air. He quickly turned to see nothing but several falling leaves. He looked at the side to side, scanning for anything out of place. The trees were dense and drenched with darkness, everything so very still. Everything but the falling leaves. He looked up at the canopy. Beneath his eyes were that of his, one of the same, the size of the rising sun. Peering down at him, they watched every step. Unblinking, watery, and red, staring down from the treetops. He stumbled as his leg buckled. Surely this could be real. He stared, expecting it to vanish, but it never did. The jumbling snaps of twigs made a beeline straight towards him and boomed louder with every passing step. He heard as the step came closer. He tried, but he couldn't break the gaze of the eye. The steps led right behind him. He pattered and stalled. He did not wish to turn. Every fiber of his being told him not to look away. The rattling of the truck failed and swayed him to sleep in a rusty iron lullaby. His cries were quiet, and he hid his face with the bearded man. "What did your mother tell you?" The man took a swig from the brown bottle. "Huh, boy? She tell you I'm a deadbeat? She tell you I didn't love you?" "No," the boy muttered. He stared at the boy with rage and fury. He brought his fist down on the dash. The sound cracked through the cab. His fist hit with such a force you'd think he broke bone, the way he hollered and roared. You know who I am, boy, he spat with vinegar. The boy just shook his head side to side timidly. The flashing lights of red and blue appeared from the rear view. The man silhouetted profanities the boy hadn't heard before. Shouted, not silhouetted, sorry. The old engine tried with all its might, but couldn't stop 50. The cop car was on them quick. The rusted truck swerved and collided into a telephone pole, and the airbags deployed. The boy's body jolted with a whiplash, and his head smacked against the door. The man slunk his way out of the truck, with no time to grab the boy, and bolted into the surrounding cornfield. Through hazy eyes, the boy watched as the man disappeared between the rows. Had he come back? A cold breath hit his neck like a gentle breeze. He held his mother. Could he not look away? Do you even know who I am? He broke out into the sprint, his legs carrying him forward and up the rocky path. The eye burned into the outlines of his vision. The trees grew taller and taller, still the higher he got. He scrambled, clutching his mother, not wanting the man to take her away. She stepped away for a moment. The tea kettle hissed. She had turned for only but a second. How much it all can change in a flash. His scream, a beaconing cry, had cut through the peaceful afternoon. She dropped the kettle with a hiss and clang. Boiling water splashed across the counter, onto her feet, scalding water blistering her skin on contact. She did not flinch. She ran to the door to see her whole world being dragged into the cab of a far too familiar truck. She ran despite the pain. She ran. Gravel struck her bare feet and dug deeper into her heel. She ran into no use. How could she keep up with a vehicle? It was impossible, yet she couldn't stop her body from propelling it far forward. The earth slid beneath his boots as he ascended. The sound of following steps stalked him, slow and methodical, always in pursuit. The eye followed to the horizon, staring unblinkingly. He knew whatever lurked behind stayed close, and breathed down his neck. He would not turn, could not turn. He tugged at roots to steady his way and held his mother as best he could. The path had shifted to stone, the ground now slick with moss, the path tilted towards the sky, a vertical staircase of stone and earth carved by the veins of streams that have run dry. Planting his feet, he began to take gentle and thoughtful steps. The first face of the wall of cold stone was conquered with relative ease. He was raised above the path they had ventured. He was closer now to the eye. For the first time since entering these woods, he heard the call of a bird not far off. She sat in the kitchen, nursing a cup of tea. What are you to do? His world is tainted because of your past. Does he deserve the truth? She had gotten weaker. That was no surprise. She was fatigued, the kind of tired no amount of sleep could satiate. He was nearly a man. She had hoped she could continue watching his journey, but God had different plans. On the setting of the beautiful life, not everything had gone as planned. Still, he was safe. He was happy, and he lived through his challenges and came out stronger. Students of any mother would be proud of. She loved with every ounce of her being, no matter how hard life was. She loved unconditionally. She was dealt a horrid hand, yet looked eagerly at the heavens and said, "Thank you. I'd do it all again if you'd have me." She was so light now. They were closer to heaven than it had been for a long time. The pastel sky didn't seem so far away, climbing to the sights he had preserved for them, so perfectly etched now in his mind. The footsteps continued to press in closer and closer still. Beams of light pierced through the sulks and illuminated vans. Nowhere to run. His mind whispered venomous thoughts. They were so happy, and you're left to rot in the isolation. No holidays, birthday parties, frozen dinners, or heartbreak. A boy in your spitting image, a mirror to life before. Now he looks at you and doesn't know the man who's half him. He doesn't know who the hell you've been through. It's all for him, and he doesn't know your name. How was everything crumbled right before you? You're unable to save this. You had your chance, and what did you do? He placed the barrel in his mouth. Oh, gosh. The oily metal clinked against his teeth. His breath hummed and hawed as he hyperventilated around the gun steel. Drunken rage mixed with regret filled him to the brim. You had your chance. The trigger clicked. Gosh. Ugh. Holy crap. Dreams of hot summer days at the lake teaching his boy how to fish. Dreams of watching his boy grow into a man. The kind he wished he could be. No coda in the stalks and soaked to the ground. He was buried alone. His grave remained bare, housing no flowers, no mourners. She knew it was too much for him. The type of news was too serious, too much for an innocent boy. So he pushed on. The cool breeze upon his neck. This was for her. He was so close to the top and nothing could stop him now. He pressed forth above the treetops. The ice stayed in place. He marched confronting it, its burning gaze as powerful as a fire inside a collapsing home. His intensity faltered when he stared back with kind eyes. The higher he got, the eye was left behind, shrouded in fog, never to see the light. He dragged himself up to a stone platform, a survey of the whole world. The towering trees seemed so small. Everything was where it needed to be. The sun, the trees, the beating water below. Each grain of sand that once stood as mountains shattered by the fist of God. Perfectly placed. And so was she. He lifted her and watched her with teary eyes as she danced in the wind, adding further beauty to this masterpiece. He sat taking it all in, the dance, the moment land. This moment land all those that came before. The marble sky, the emerald bay, the sunlit timbers, breathe it in. Don't let it go. The past isn't going anywhere. Don't let this moment slip away. He sat with her until the stars came out, just as he always had. Good Lord. That was one of the more serious stories I've ever read. That was good though. Like, oh god, just like disturbing moments, really touching. It like yanks you back and forth like, oh, how nice to like, like it's a good one though. Like, good Lord. Oh shoot, what's the author's name again? I'm so bad at that. Sir Michael, you did an excellent job portraying the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of our main protagonist between his mother and his father. It's just, oh man, I don't really have words to describe what I'm kind of feeling right now. Just kind of like a nasty guttural feeling, but at the same time, like peace of mind at the same time. It's just really cool how you've been able to mix those two feelings together in a story like this. So, yeah, but thank you again, Sir Michael. Appreciate you letting me read your story. I hope you keep writing. But like I said, for everyone else, please continue to write. You will only get better. And all the links will be in the description below if you want to check out the author and my Discord if you want to just come chat, suggest stories to me and all that whatnot. But anyway, that's about it for tonight. I hope you all have a great night, all right? Later!